Now, on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a man accused of sex crimes involving children has made his way back to Victoria County from state jail. We'll tell you the charges he faces this morning. And Hunter Biden has entered a not guilty plea to 9 federal tax-related charges in California. The president's son faces serious penalties if convicted. We have the details on his tentative trial date. Plus, inflation climbed in the month of December. Consumer prices rose 0.3 of a point, bringing the annual rate to 3.4%. We have more on the report from the U.S. Labor Department.
We've got a little bit of some cool weather coming away right now with the cold front, but we got some really cool weather coming next week with a hard freeze coming Monday. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
And maybe the greatest coach of all time will be on a new sideline next year. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 12th day of January 2024. The time is now 6:31 on our Friday morning, and it is National Marzipan Day.
Also Friday, Carolina. We can't leave out Friday.
It is Friday.
But it is National Marzipan Day.
It is.
And you're going to have to let me know.
So I'm going to have to stop by a Mexican candy store because they use marzipan in a lot of the Mexican candies.
Okay.
The one I'm thinking of now, I think it's the De La Rosa. It's kind of a peanut flavored candy, but yes.
So is it like an ingredient then?
It's an ingredient.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like it's an own dish or something. See,
you could buy it as candy itself, like marzipan candy. It's very popular.
I'm sorry. I'm so uneducated when it comes to food.
It's okay, Parker. You've got a lot of road to go.
I'm still learning.
Well, how is it looking out there? It's not as foggy as it was yesterday.
No, it was really foggy yesterday, but now it is quite the opposite. It's very clear out there because you just got that cool front actually that just came through our area about half an hour ago. It's actually out there in the Gulf of Mexico, which is finally, it's actually a dry front. So that's why there's no rain or anything. Usually you get a little bit of rain with the front, but nothing out there right now. In fact, if you're all tuning in with us right now, look at a live look at Eastern Victoria, where, like I said, pretty clear. There may be a couple of really light clouds, but starting out about 62 degrees right now. I'm thinking the temperature is going to slowly drop into the 50s this morning as that cool air kind of sweeps through our area. But a little bit dry out there as well with that dry, cool air. 34% humidity out there with those winds. Very windy out there. That's why that camera's shaking. 22 miles an hour out of the west-northwest. And those winds are going to pick up throughout the rest of the day. Sustained at about 25 today, gusting up to 40 to 45. Going to be a very, very windy day today. And then finally calming down by tonight. But then looking at your temperatures for the day, only warming up to probably the it's actually look at your temperature for this weekend into next week. This is Saturday right here. Only warm up to the mid to upper 60s on Saturday. It can warm up nicely with that southerly wind. But then on Sunday morning, actually, we're going to get a little bit of a slight cool breeze out of the north with that low pressure system up there in the Canadas. That's going to get a little bit of a cool breeze to slowly cool us down into what's coming on Monday. As you can see here, there's that front coming on Monday, the Arctic front, bringing us into the 30s and the 20s overnight, Monday night and Tuesday night. You can see here the low 20s. We'll take a look at that and that alert day details that is issued for Monday and Tuesday and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Kiana.
Thank you, Parker. The Hallettsville Police Department reports Bradley K. Puchdejovsky has made a safe return. His family said he left his house on January 9th to go to the hospital but didn't come back. He was last seen driving his gray Ford F-150, but now he's safe back at home. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office has booked a man accused of sex crimes involving children. The Sheriff's Office actually traveled to Bexar County to pick him up from a state jail where he currently served time. 46-year-old Mark Fernandez Jr. is now in the Victoria County Jail on a charge of aggravated sexual assault of a child. Fernandez also faces several other sexual offenses against children under the age of 14. He remains in custody without bond. An El Campo man who opened fire at a child's birthday party in November of 2022 has pled guilty to charges against him. This story brought to us by the El Campo Leader News. 22-year-old Isaac Lopez received a 5-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to charges of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Lopez wounded 2 people during that November 22nd shooting. Both victims made a full recovery. Hunter Biden pled not guilty to 9 tax-related charges. Biden appeared before a U.S. district judge during an arraignment in Los Angeles Thursday. The hearing comes just over a month after Biden was indicted in the Central District of California on allegations that he failed to pay his taxes. Prosecutors claim Biden spent this money on drugs, escorts, luxury hotels, exotic cars, and other items of a personal nature from 2016 through October 2020. A tentative trial date is scheduled for June 20th. Biden could face up to 17 years in prison if convicted on all counts. Prices continue to rise in December. That's from new figures released yesterday from the Labor Department. The Consumer Price Index was up 0.3 points last month, pushing the rate for the year to 3.4%. The figure was higher than expected and suggests inflation still has a stubborn grip on the nation's economy. On a semi-brighter side, the Labor Department says wages adjusted for inflation were up just about 0.2 points. We recently had all the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now at 5 to hear their various platforms. Now, we're giving you a chance to learn more about their character and personality. We asked all the candidates the same 4 questions. The first question was for them to show us an important item. And then the second one was to talk to us about their dream job from when they were a child. And number 3, we asked if you're elected mayor, what's your greatest fear? And finally, we also asked what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is Abraham Lincoln. Is you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. You know, that's in real life today. I mean, we hope that we can please, you know, everybody. I don't think it'll ever happen. Be a peace officer, and I went ahead and I fulfilled that dream. I found out it didn't make much money, so I went on to the private sector. And about 18 years ago, I got into the limousine industry, and I have been in this industry ever since. My biggest fear is that I won't be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. If I got mayor, I hope that we would all be able to work together for the common interests of the people. It's never about us. It never will be about me. Is that it will be always about the people of this community. My children and grandchildren is that I'm very proud of all of them. The love that you get from your grandkids, it's like being a parent all back over again. That is just the light of my life.
Also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Jacob Sauceda, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, and Dwayne Crocker. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special mayoral election. After 54 years, the Ferrara Candy Company has decided to discontinue Fruit Stripe gum. Fruit Stripe gum was created in 1969 by the Beech-Nut Company. It came in 5 flavors, and each stick contained a temporary tattoo of the mascot Yips, the zebra. The flavor may have only lasted for a minute, but we'll remember it forever. I think they used to come in a little tin can, if I recall. Okay. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. That way you get notified when we have a new post. The time is now 6:38 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Victoria residents will face another election after approving property tax cuts in November.
I'm ABC's Em Nguyen in Des Moines, Iowa. Election 2024 is in full swing with the Iowa caucus just 3 days away. But the frigid cold temperatures right outside these walls are already affecting the campaign. The latest coming up.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, that allergy report as well, and later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at that Arctic blast that's coming our way next week. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all tuning in with us this morning, you look at a live look at Queer, where it's quite clear out there, and also a little bit starting to slowly get a little chilly out there because that cold front just rolled through. It's actually out there in the Gulf of Mexico right now. And that's actually why it's so windy out there. Northwest wind of 16 miles an hour, bringing you a 58-degree temperature out there right now, with also very dry out there with 31%. That's because they got that dry, cold air that just came roll through with that cool front. But we're going to get another one coming next week. Take a look at that in just a second, because if you're sending your kiddos off to school this morning, it's going to be about 55 as they're heading out the door. a little bit chilly. You might want to pack a light jacket today because it's only going to warm up to about 60 this afternoon. Going to be very, very windy as well today with this gust up to 40 miles an hour, maybe even 45 miles an hour today. Going to be a very windy day, just like it was on Monday earlier this week. And with all that windy conditions, we've got a little bit of tree pollen from the mountain cedar all the way out in West Texas coming into our area. So it might not be a bad idea to take an allergy pill, but maybe leave it to you to decide because not terrible out there right now, but we've got a big storm coming our way next week, bringing us into below freezing temperatures. Got us to the low 20s overnight Monday night and Tuesday night with possibly some freezing rain. So we'll have an alert day, and we'll take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A parting of ways between a legendary franchise and one of the greatest coaches of all time. Sports reporter Zach Brown has more in sports.
It's been talked about for a large portion of this year, and yesterday it became official. After 24 years and 6 Super Bowl titles, the greatest coach in NFL history is leaving the New England sideline. Bill Belichick and the Patriots, after a series of conversations, have mutually parted ways. Instead of sadness, Bill Belichick said, "This day is a day of gratitude and celebration." Before he addressed the media, he says he hadn't seen that many cameras since they signed Tim Tebow. Bill thanked everyone in the organization and credited his success to the players, saying they win the ball games, and his greatest player ever, that of course being Tom Brady, feels the same way about him, saying he's grateful to have played for the greatest coach ever and says he could never have been the player he was without him. Former Cuero head coach Jack Alvarez has announced his decision to retire. He held numerous head coaching jobs throughout his career, but was recently the coach at Marshall High School. Alvarez was the Gobbler coach just after Travis Reeve, and while he did not win a title in Cuero, he had a great career, winning one with Ennis in 2014 and going to the title game with Kirbyville in 2008 and 2009. And Derek Stingley is your AFC Defensive Player of the Month. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now to the race for the White House. The deep freeze blanketing Iowa is threatening to complicate caucuses coming in just 3 days. Republican candidates urging voters to come out anyway. Many are concerned that they may stay home, thinking the results are already a done deal. The severe weather already impacting last-minute campaigning in the state.
Blizzard warnings across Iowa forcing some Republican presidential candidates to cancel in-person events. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley replacing a Friday event with a telephone town hall. Her spokesperson saying stormy weather won't stop us from ensuring Iowans hear Nikki's vision.
I am excited because obviously I have been campaigning all over this sweet state for 11 months, so it's fun that we can kind of bring this to fruition and see where it is.
This as the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump spends another day in court, the second this week. During closing arguments in his civil fraud trial, the former president lashing out at the judge in unauthorized remarks, calling the case a political witch hunt. The judge had previously found Trump overvalued his real estate properties for years, allowing him to get better deals on loans and insurance. The court's now only deciding how much Trump and his business should pay. State Attorney General Letitia James arguing Trump should also never be allowed to do business in New York again.
It's a disgrace, and they should pay me damages.
Back in Iowa, Governor Ron DeSantis warning against making this election about the former president.
If Trump is the candidate, the election will be about legal issues, criminal trials, maybe he's convicted. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that we don't know is going to happen. January 6th.
Not to be forgotten in Iowa, President Joe Biden's team with plans to descend on Des Moines on caucus day to remind voters what's at stake. His campaign accusing Trump and MAGA Republicans of launching an assault on Americans' freedoms. When Iowans kick off the 2024 election cycle on Monday, they're likely to confront sub-zero temperatures. But candidates are expressing optimism that their supporters will still come out. Emlyn, ABC News, Des Moines, Iowa.
That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, should Trump be allowed to do business in New York? Okay, let's take a look. 58% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. Thank you for taking part in today's viewer poll. Victoria residents will face another election after approving property tax cuts in November. The Texas Tribune reports as part of the new law, voters in Texas's 50 largest counties will now elect 3 new members of their respective property appraisal district boards. Victoria is the 44th biggest county in Texas, so this May, voters will be asked to elect candidates in the new political positions within their appraisal districts. The time is now 6:46 on our Friday morning. Still to come, plastic chemicals are costing the U.S. healthcare system billions of dollars.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you really liked that, if you enjoyed that warm weather we had yesterday, heated up to 76, I really hope you enjoyed it because we're not going to see that again for a while. So take a look at what's going on here. We got a hard freeze coming our way next week, but right now we got that low pressure system right over the central Great Plains, which just gave us that cold front actually literally 30 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. It's out there in the Gulf of Mexico right now, which is why it's so windy and a little bit cooler out there this morning. That low is going to push northeast into the northeast coast, bringing them up there yet again. Another blizzard. No, they just had one like a few days ago. They're going to have another one, and lots of nasty weather up there. Well, that low is going to kind of settle down right there in the central Canada, which is going to cool us off here in the Crossroads, actually from all the way up there with some little bit cooler air on Sunday afternoon. Actually going to keep us only in the upper 40s and 50s Sunday. But then after that low kind of settles down up there and brings us and really slingshots even more cool air down here, you can see this Arctic blast coming off a low pressure system. It's going to be a weak one coming right off the Rockies. It's going to dissipate once it gets right over Texas, which could even bring us here in the Crossroads possibly some freezing rain, depending on the temperature, where the freezing line is when that rain and precip arrives. Now, look at those temperatures starting out on Sunday afternoon. Like I said, a little bit chillier on Sunday, only in the upper 40s and 50s, low 50s that is, dropping down into the 30s for Monday. Here's your high temperature with 38 degrees on Monday because that front is coming through Monday morning. But going into overnight, Monday night, drop it into the 20s for Monday night and Tuesday night as well. That's why I have an alert day for Monday and Tuesday, because we're going to have a hard freeze and potentially even some freezing rain. We'll take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Plastic chemicals are costing the U.S. healthcare system billions of dollars. That's the takeaway from a new study that finds a group of hormone-disruptive chemicals contributes to the development of chronic disease and death. Just in 2018, that cost tallied to more than $249 billion. Medical experts say the 4 chemicals measured in the new study are thought to interfere with the body's mechanism for hormone production. Those include certain chemicals that make plastic more durable and those like BPA and BPS used to make hard plastics and resins. Experts say the chemicals can cause damage to developmental, reproductive, immune, and cognitive systems. Researchers say this new study provides a better understanding of exposures, but also potential targets for the solution. Millions of furniture tip kits intended to keep children safe from furniture tipping over are being recalled. The Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a recall Thursday because the plastic zip ties included in the kits can become brittle or weak and break. No injuries are reported, just reports of the product breaking. The new age furniture tip kits were sold online and in furniture stores across the U.S. since at least November 2019. More than 24 furniture companies are part of the recall. For a detailed list, visit cpsc.gov. Still to come on Sunrise News to know before you go. The U.S. and Britain have launched military strikes against targets in Houthi-controlled Yemen. The U.S. and Britain launched military strikes against targets in Houthi-controlled Yemen. That's from 2 U.S. leaders. 4 RAF Typhoon FGR-4s used Paveway 4 guided bombs to conduct precision strikes on Houthi rebels. A number of buildings involved in the drone operations were targeted by RAF jets. The other location struck by typhoons was the airfield at Abs. Several key targets at the airfield were identified and bombed by the RAF fighters. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak confirmed the development and said the Royal Air Force participated in attacks on facilities used by Houthi rebels in Yemen. President Biden has said he ordered the strikes in direct response to unprecedented Houthi attacks against international maritime vessels in the Red Sea. Early voting, it's going to start next week. It's for the Victoria mayoral election. It's a special election, and it starts on January 17th, and it'll run through the 30th. Voters can cast their ballot at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. starting next Wednesday. There will be extended voting hours on January 29th and 30th, where voters can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. January 23rd marks the last day to apply for a ballot by mail. The Republican women of the Yoakum area hosting a GOP candidates forum this Saturday at the Yoakum Community Center. That's at 105 Huck Street. The forum starts at 6 p.m. Crew members on board a Navy helicopter that crashed in California Thursday are currently undergoing medical evaluation. That's from a media release from Navy leaders. The MH-60R helicopter dropped in the San Diego Bay Thursday during routine training, and because of the nature of the training, a safety boat was nearby. So with the help of federal fire, all 6 people on the helicopter were saved. The cause of the incident is still unknown. An investigation is underway. Updated information on 2 warming centers opening in Victoria Sunday. The warming center at the First United Methodist Church is at 407 North Bridge Street will open at 2 p.m. Sunday, and it'll close at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. The church is collecting donations of bottled water, individually packaged snacks, light throw blankets, or socks. The Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters that's at 1302 North Lois Street opens as a warming center anytime the temperature drops below 35 degrees or below 30 degrees in wind chill. The emergency shelter will be open from 4:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. When the church center closes Wednesday, they will go to the Salvation Army. Also on Monday, it's the Martin Luther King Jr. March and Program. It starts at 10 a.m. and begins at the Martin Luther King Jr. Park on 3808 Callis Street, and then it'll end at St. Peter's Baptist Church, where a program celebrating MLK will take place. Guest speaker and civil rights attorney Matthew Manning will be attending the program. Texas regulators limit oil and gas disposal wells in a bid to reduce earthquakes in West Texas. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now we turn to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Parker Cox for a look at your forecast. Parker.
Well, good morning, Cohen, and good morning, folks. If you're all waking up or just tuning in, look at a live look at eastern Victoria, where it's quite windy out there because we just got a cold front. 26-mile-an-hour winds out of the northwest and 60 degrees right now. Now, those winds are going to actually pick up throughout the rest of the day, sustained at 25, gusting up to 40 miles an hour today. Going to be a windy day today, but the big talk going into this weekend and next weekend is an alert day issue for Monday and Tuesday. We're going to have a hard freeze and possibly even some freezing rain, depending on where the freezing line is on Monday morning. So wrap your open air pipes, cover tender vegetation, provide shelter for your pets, and make sure to shut down your sprinklers. Now, for the rest of this weekend, it's going to be nice and warm on Saturday afternoon in the upper 60s, but after that cold front, Arctic front comes through on Monday morning, it is going to be in the low 20s overnight.
Brr.
Brr.
All right, well, thank you, Parker, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day and a start to your weekend. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.